And people need to, it comes right down to like Schaeffer's hometown, Fairbanks. There's not one single person in the city council. I've been down there in front of the city council explaining what happened and everything. They will not listen to it. They don't want to hear it. I bring it up and they just silence. They won't say a word. It's pretty disgusting.
It's heavy. It's heavy because, we also have activists like Julian, the founder of WikiLeaks, Julian Assange. I think the founder was found dead. But recently, Julian Assange has become very ill in, prison, and it's heavy. It's a heavy issue, and it's something that it's huge. It's
Schaeffer's having a hard time getting fresh water. He was having a hard time getting fresh water, and he's trying to buy vitamin pills, trying to get vitamin C because he's got scurvy. He said he had scurvy. And it's in there in a prison. That Terre Haute, or the Terre Haute prison is built in the 30s. And he's living on what used to be the death row there. So they've got little tiny cells and deplorable conditions. He only gets like 15 minutes a week at that time on the telephone, and can't talk to. I was on email with him. He had 20 people, I guess, that he could have email conversation with, but they stifle his efforts to, even to his attorney, defend himself. When his attorney, in fact, Larry Klayman, went to see him in Terre Haute prison, and Larry Klayman said that it was pretty distracting. He was having a hard time talking to Scheaffer because it was only like 32 degrees in the room that they put him in. So you're sitting there freezing, and you're trying to make some sense out of all this, and you're freezing, sitting there freezing. That's what they do.
So, I thank you guys so much for coming on, and,
This goes a lot further, too. It goes a lot further.
We can, bring some attention to this case, and...
the FBI steals your defense money,
Oh, yes,
they lock you up, put you in prison. They infiltrate your defense team, which I wasn't a part of that one. Mm-hmm. I'm my own defense team, and...
let's talk about how people can learn more about Scheaffer Cox's case and even help out.
Well, you can go to freeschaeffer.com. That's his website. And there's also Lone Star 1776. That's LONESTAR, Lone Star, like in Texas. Lone Star 1776 has a lot of those people, and it's Rudy Davis and Aaron Davis are great people. They have a prison ministry and helping Scheaffer and many people out. They do. And if you want to talk to somebody, get Rudy on here. I tell you, it's bad what's happening. People are being locked up for various reasons, and they get $80,000 maybe a year if they house criminals, or if they house people in prison, make criminals out of them.
The mini documentary for Scheaffer is called The Untold Story of Scheaffer Cox, Department of Injustice, The Untold Story of Scheaffer Cox. And you can see that on freeschaeffer.com.
Awesome, guys.
Free Scheaffer, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on today.
And then look at Framed by the FBI, ? The Story of Scheaffer Cox. Search that, and it's a 30-minute video, and it goes into it, but it doesn't go all the way into it. There's a lot more corruption going on than that. But that'll just give you an idea. That's amazing how bad this is.
We should touch on, before we go, the how CPS was affecting Scheaffer in the beginning. The first thing that people did to target Scheaffer is they tried to get his kids away from him. And that's very interesting that's the very first thing that happened. And they try to act like...
That's very common. A lot of the lower courts seem to be really, really involved in this. The social workers, the gang stalkers, the state actors, really involved in targeting, especially for political purposes. It's very obvious right now.
And now our country is so divided from all this Democrat-Republican thing, and, we can't really even have a society when you have people, that are going to be in the jury pool walking around thinking that they get to put someone in prison because of their political beliefs. I mean, you can see how they act around Alex Jones. When Alex Jones just walks down the sidewalk and talks to people, he's got people that come up to him and say, "Didn't you lose custody of your children?" Like they're so happy about something that didn't even happen, And just the political environment is unreal. Just unreal.
It is, and a lot of them are, like I said, they're social workers that are employed by the state, court clergy, these people, this is their apple cart, the targeting and the trafficking and all of that, it's
Yeah, in Alaska, the governor and local politicians and nobody will help Scheaffer Cox. But in Idaho, you've got the Political Prisoner Foundation Incorporated of Boise, Idaho, and they are helping Scheaffer Cox because they know he's not guilty. But the state of Alaska just, his case is closed as far as they're concerned. And
wasn't there someone running for U.S. Senator that had their campaign wrecked by one of these informants?
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
so
he was an
they have a pattern of this.
Yeah, he's an up-and-coming guy, and there was a big thing where one of these informants went over there, and what did they do? They beat up one of his people or him, or made him look bad.
They did a false citizen's arrest, and they tried to blame it on the guy running for office.
Well, when CPS gets involved and they come in and target your kids, that's considered like a high level of non-compliance.
Well, they're trying to provoke Scheaffer into taking action so they could shoot him down. And they didn't accomplish it at that time because he had his son, and then he was at the radio station in North Pole on air, and he was interviewed out there with Senator so-and-so, I forget who it was with him, and there was a group outside that gathered with automatic weapons, and we're told to fix the Scheaffer Cox problem when he came out of that. But then a couple people, a man and a woman, came out of one of those houses that's out there and wanted to know, what are all you guys doing out here? So that blew their cover when they saw when the guy came out there and discovered him out there waiting for Scheaffer to come out of there.
Well, I think people are becoming more and more aware of these tactics because they can watch the president of the United States being targeted. So hopefully, this will bring more light to the Scheaffer Cox story. I think
it's obvious.
Yeah, I think you guys
on TV.
I thank you so much for coming on today.
Sure.
And I hope you come back and update us on any new turn of events that come about.
Yeah, he got an appeal going now already. So
yeah, we're in the Ninth Circuit again, and so they're going to try and get a retrial. And he needs it. Really, they should just let him out now because of the travesty of due process.
Yeah,
but a retrial would be vindicating too.
Yeah. Well,
it didn't matter to the judge if he didn't have due process. No, the whole thing didn't matter to the judge. He's just a badass because he's homeschooled and wants to build a submarine. Scheaffer's he's a scholar, he's a sailor, he's a carpenter, he's a statesman to be. That's what I call him,
There's two things that he wrote that we should mention, because we're not doing justice to his literary talent here. He wrote a story for his children called The Way of the Sea. Okay, and that's definitely worth checking out for everybody. It's called The Way of the Sea. And he also wrote another story called Lions or Needles. That's Lions or Needles.
Nice. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on. I've got to end the show. It's the end of the hour.
Okay.
Here. And I'll look forward to having you back on.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. This has been another episode of Portal to Justice Off the Cuff. I'm your host, Amelia Duran, and you can get my content on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I'm on live on Spreaker.com. Have a great day.